So welcome everyone. Katie, Kevin, Mikael, all the way in Hungary. How are you guys doing?
We're good, right?
Fantastic.
Drinking, touring, no complaints here.
Nope, go back to drinking.
Yeah.
And drinking.
And drinking again.
Or drinking. You'll get there too, Katie.
We will. It's early. It's okay.
Well, welcome guys. This is our first virtual podcast all together. Finally, we hopefully have an in-person one soon as well. And yeah, we're all here because In Voyage is turning 10 years old.
Woo! Yay!
We're hitting
Good.
double digits, which I think is really cool. Which is why we've brought the two of you together today. You've played a big part in what In Voyage does. But for everyone out there, I want to take a quick moment for everyone to introduce themselves. Katie, you can start.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm the wine fairy, and I do wine specialist tours and fun and fabulous. I'm the one that's the chaos, really, that brings the wines for everyone to drink.
Lovely. Kevin, you're up.
Kevin Fonzo, I am the chef, cook fairy, I guess you can call me. I actually lead some tours throughout the world, and I'm the guy cooking for you guys on the tours, making those hopefully incredible meals and trying to pair that with wine. Not as great as Katie does, but I give my best shot.
You do okay. Yeah, you do good. Thank you.
Bad food. It's good. Mikael, go ahead.
I am Mikael Audebert. I'm the founder and the CEO of In Voyage, and I have to deal with those two all the time, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, good answer.
Short one too.
Right. Love that. And I'm Barratt. I do the marketing and content for In Voyage, and I'll be hosting all of you virtually today. But let's get into it. You know, In Voyage, 10 years old, quite a big milestone, especially for you, Mikael. I mean, obviously you've brought this up to what it is today. I was wondering if you could, say a few lovely words about In Voyage turning 10.
It is at a place where I didn't think it would ever be. In Voyage started as a company that was trying to cater to a need that guests could not necessarily find, in an age of technology where people go to Orbitz.com, Expedia.com to design their trip. Very few, travel consultant, that's how we call ourselves today, really had the knowledge to do that. And we wanted to do something more boutique-y. So it was not about number and about volume, but it was about quality. And we really evolved, it's interesting, over the last 10 years. And thanks to a host like Kevin and Katie, we really evolved into this come as a guest, leave as a friend. And I think we'll touch on that topic down the road. But I never thought that In Voyage would become this big family of guests who started as clients, but really turned out into a big family. And actually, we were just in Provence, and I think that was the main theme.
Correct.
We had a Toastmaster, right, Mike?
Really?
We love to give toast every night.
We got teary-eyed some nights.
Yeah, it really touched on that, on the fact that they've done already 3 journeys with In Voyage, and they really feel like each time they're just joining friends and family. So really kind of took a good turn, a good direction into this un-Googleable, I like to say that, family, friends experiences. And we absolutely love doing this, and we hope we can do way more than that with new destinations.
I love that. And I mean, both Kevin and Katie attest, I'm sure you've had moments of guests where you're still in contact with them now.
Absolutely.
8-10 years down the line, keeping up with each other. And I think, come as guests, travel as friends is always a very good way to explain what we do. And I think it's a good moment if you both have hosted plentiful journeys with In Voyage. And, I think it's a very special thing to have also being able to work with you guys for so long, because you really build, that trust and relationship between each other. And I just want to know, from your guys' perspective, being hosts on In Voyage journeys, doing all these different destinations, what has that meant to you, or how has it been to be a host with In Voyage? Katie?
It's absolutely incredible. I mean, we all talk about people and different personalities, but I can tell you, one of our very first trips was here in South Africa. And it was as if Kevin and I had just met, and it was like we were on honeymoon. And it was just hilarious. And you do. I mean, we're still in touch with all of those people that were on that trip. And it gives you an opportunity to share your knowledge, to share your passions with other people, and to really see the lights go on and to build connections that are irreplaceable. And to experience new places. I mean, a lot of the places that we go to, sometimes we haven't necessarily been to in person always for a long time. So it's wonderful to experience that and to see places opening up through everybody's eyes and then creating memories together. I think that's a really important part of the connection.
You guys do make the journeys. I have to say, the connections, the laughter, the personalities. That is what is the success of our Art in Voyage curated journeys. Without you guys, without the host personalities and ability to adapt and to adjust to all the other personalities on the journey, it wouldn't be possible to have a successful journey. And I have to say, the two of you are so versatile when it comes to that. It's absolutely incredible. And I have great memories of your first trip to South Africa. You two were just...
Right.
We're not going to go too much into details.
Right.
Listen, this is an adult podcast, but there are some things that should not be discussed, okay?
To add to Katie's comment about a honeymoon for us in South Africa, we actually shared a room together on safari. So that was like a real honeymoon. I slept with the covers tightly, of course. But yes, but these trips for me, so we are not that kind of company where we walk around with a flag saying "Follow me" throughout the city, right? We're very personalized. We are boutique-y, we are small, where people feel comfortable, not just a number or like a "Hey, you, get over here." Being in a villa or a hotel with the guests, you really get to know them personally. Being a chef in the villa, they get to come out and hang out in the kitchen with me and ask me all the questions, right? If you went to a restaurant and the chef was there, you had the opportunity to speak to him is very different. In the villa with me, they're asking me 1,000 questions a day about cooking. They're actually using their own knives. They're cooking very well. So to me, that connection between me and the guest via the kitchen is very special. And I think other tour groups don't have that, right? The guests are with us. Wine Ferry picking up wines, drinking in the kitchen with me, cooking with me is very unique and specific to Art in Voyage, which I think my friends come on trips, they really enjoy that.
Yeah, and I think over the years we've been able to develop a less serious. I mean, listen, our guests are paying obviously for their journey, so it is important to deliver the quality that we promise them. But one thing we promise them is we're not going to be snobbish, right? It's going to be a very friendly atmosphere. There's going to be laughter, and it is our jobs as hosts to adapt this to the personality, right? So we rarely have journeys where we have people that just couldn't understand the humor or could not really connect with other guests. We're lucky that way. And I think it speaks to volume to how we also make sure that when we have guest bookings a journey, if we know their personality is not going to match, we'll be very careful at letting them know in advance, letting them know what this particular journey is all about, the guests that are joining, to make sure that there's a good match, because it's important after a week that people leave and say, oh my God, I had such a great group of guests and friends, on that journey. And it's the job of the host as well to really assess that. And you guys do a great job. And your personalities often bring, I think, the best of the guests too.
I agree.
Right?
They feel comfortable.
They feel comfortable, they let go, and that's at the end of the day, that's what matters.
And wine doesn't hurt.
No, wine doesn't hurt.
Does not hurt.
I mean, one thing I've often heard from guests is that they honestly feel like home to them when they're on journeys or on villas. It doesn't feel like they're staying until they're home or something. It creates this real energy and feel of relax at home. Mikael's told a few stories of guests actually wanting to partake and wanting to help cook and wanting to help clean up. And it really creates a warm, homey feel, which I think obviously both of you are really good at creating that environment.
Yeah, it's also, as Mikael says, reading the room, right? There's a fine line between professionalism and cheeky. And clearly we can be cheeky. You've all seen and heard that already. But it's understanding when to have those parts come through and when to showcase the professional side that we actually pride ourselves in as well. I think it's finding that balance which makes us unique.
Very good at that.
So, the focus is first the safety of the guests, but also entertaining. It is their vacation. It's not ours. So we are here for them, whether that means coming to the kitchen, hang out all day, or go with the wine fairy Katie shopping for wines, but they are actually part of the whole experience. We kind of reflect our day based upon their needs.
Yeah, I mean, you're there to take care of everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a fun way.
And experience all the beauty of the places that we go to, because there's so much to explore in those places that we go to and see. So.
I mean, with all these new destinations and the places you get to explore, In Voyage always tries to make unique experiences or craft something around you, around what the guests want. And I wanted to know, and Mikael, you can also weigh in on this, is on the journeys you've hosted, what are certain experiences that you were like, wow, this is something new. This is something exciting I haven't even done on journeys that, the general public couldn't necessarily access because it's someone who knows someone that we know that we have a good relationship with that made something happen. What are one of those moments you've had on your journeys?
Look, well, for me, I think certainly it's something that I love to do here in South Africa is because of my friendships with a lot of the winemakers is, we don't necessarily do the standard, we go through the cellar, let's do this, let's do that. We meet the owners, we go into their homes, you sit around the kitchen table and you have a meal and you talk about wine. Because I think in that moment, you understand that wine particularly is so much more than just liquid in a glass. It's you're meeting the person that made it. You're seeing their face light up with the passion as they talk about their family history, about where they've grown this wine, what happens in that way. So for me, that kind of being able to draw people into winemakers' homes is a very important part of this and very special. And forgive me, I'm going to hold the floor, but I remember we went on a trip, we were in Provence, and we went around the market, and we met a local, lovely young man who took us around the market with Kevin. They were so fabulous watching these two chefs sort of buy the fish and talk about this and the way they interacted. That's a really special thing to see. And then to go back to Gilles' home, and we all stood around in his garden, like making the most fantastic bouillabaisse. And it was just so I'm getting goosebumps talking about it because I'm literally transporting myself back into that moment right now. And those are things you don't do on everyday tours. You don't do that on a cookie cutter kind of thing. And that was so special. And that's just two very simple examples on different tours. But I think each tour has one of those experiences, if not more. Really just give me the tingles. I get excited.
Tingles are good. I like that. You want all guests to have tingles, right? I remember.
I mean, and that's their first time, and I'm reliving that, and I'm still getting the tingles, right? So, and I think that's what our guests do. So,
and that stays forever. That memory will be in your head forever. I'll bring up two things really quick. So for me being the chef, I find it, a chef's time is very, very tight. The schedule is very complicated, especially if you own a restaurant. So I'll just bring up one domestic trip going to Maine with Chef Melissa Kelly, a Primo.
Yeah.
So she actually gets up super early in the morning. She welcomes us on her farm. She gives a personalized tour of the farm, also the process for raising pigs, the charcuterie program. And then we continue into her restaurant or the outside party area and do a private cooking class for all our guests. We have a cocktail class, a cooking class, then we go back inside the restaurant, she makes us lunch, right? Just any person on a tour will not get that, or any person who's a patron of a restaurant. So this is specialized right for In Voyage with Mikael's and mine tutelage. And also Portland, Oregon, there's a chef, Peter Chow, who after dinner, we drove to his home, right? And met his family inside, and they made us like summer rolls and special stuff. But that is how special these trips are. I think the team in Cape Town go above and beyond researching fantastic locations with our tutelage. We have some input, but you won't get that on many tours, right? And if you do, it's going to cost you a load of money. But this is part of what we do. why we enjoy doing
Yeah,
this.
but the connection the host had, in this case, that was your connection,
Yeah,
matters.
true.
So we can plan as much as we want far in advance. At the end of the day, like you said, Kitty, it's about reading the room, right? So a program for 12 guests may not work for all 12 guests. You got to adjust it. You got to read the room. We often get preferences sent in advance, only to find out on site that guests actually have slightly different preferences because they just listed something very general, but now they're in a moment. And they're like, oh, that would be great to do this. Now they're in a moment. The host could be, oh, on our last journey, we did this. And they're like, oh, yes, I would love to do this. So the connection that you guys have as well, the connections with all the local, not suppliers, I like to call them partners. I think suppliers is very much of a retail term. All of the partners that we have locally, it matters. I remember one time in Perugia, in Umbria, is allegedly with Torino, the capital of chocolate, right? They kind of fight, that title. And for the love of me, I couldn't find any chocolate making experience. Like in the chocolate capital, you couldn't find anything other than a big factory. And I'm like, no, we want something local that the mama makes. And sure enough, we found this little cafe that did that. But they didn't have really the setup for it. And we helped them create the setup for it. Well, 5 years later, they've actually created a school right above the cafe with all of the equipment and the proper setup. And they've been selling, they've been selling chocolate making experiences. And so sometimes it's also about bringing to the forefront what the locals have, but they don't know they have, right? Yeah. It's about making sure they understand what their full potential is and where the demand might be. So it's really helping each other in bringing that product to the forefront.
But that Mikael, exactly, that builds a sense of community, which I think is something we're all very passionate about. And it's uplifting that community and bringing like-minded people together. And absolutely. I think I congratulate you on that, because I think you do that really, really well. And you've instilled that in us as well. And this way to be able to pivot exactly like you did. So as much as we have these set itineraries and these plans, we can actually think on our feet and kind of switch it up if we need to. Last minute, we can make something magical happen. And I think in many cases, it's often those things that are the standouts. It's often when we go off script that makes the biggest memory and the most impact.
So with that in mind, Katie, do you remember a little moment where we're like, what are we going to do for dinner tonight in Burgundy, right? And then we turned that corner and Mikael just hit the brakes. And he's like,
lucky I drive into. I was a South African driving on the wrong side of the road. But yeah.
And we're like, what is that? And I see a machine with a picture of bread on it.
Yes.
And, we're still debating what are we going to do tonight. I think it was a Sunday night. So Sunday in France, a lot of the restaurants are closed. And we just back a little bit, drive into that parking garage. Everybody comes out. It's like, what is that machine? It was making fresh bread. Right. Now, next to it was the cheese.
Okay.
So the local farmers had found a way in this very remote area to sell this cheese. I mean, basically, it's a giant refrigerator, but with, like the candy machines, right? And then you just punch the number. What cheese do you want? You pay by card. So now we have the bread cooking or baking on one side. And then we have the cheese on the other side. Let me tell you. And then we went back to the castle. We took over one of the castle rooms, right? And we had already olives that we had bought at the market the day before. We had dry sausage. And we had our little picnic. And to the guests, it was
wine that they got,
I
still giggle at that. I can actually hear the squeals of laughter because we got so much bread. We didn't need the bread, but we had so much joy in waiting for this hot bread to pop out of this machine. We had to catch it. And this machine was giving birth to baguettes. It was... Yeah, anyway.
That's awesome. I love that.
So that speaks to how we're able to, to pivot. Obviously, not all of our journeys have dinners included and guests, baguette machine along the way. But in this case, we just say, guys, what about this? They, again, Sunday night, things were closed. The restaurant, they had already tried it at the hotel. I think it's one of those moments to me that really define who we are and what we do, right? And I know it's super simple, but it's the kind of stuff that our guests absolutely love.
Yeah. But we also communicate with them to tell them what's happening.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
So
They participate in the baguette making.
Exactly right. Yes.
I love that, and I think going off script and these things like these moments you say is often the special moments.
Yeah.
I'm talking about going off script.
Sorry, we seem to do that. Yes.
Talking about going off script, I think you again with so many journeys you've done, there must have been moments, funny moments.
I know nothing.
So cheeky moments. I know what happens to Provence stays in Provence, but this is our 10-year birthday. We can be a little more, we can open a little bit. I want to know some of it.
I still laugh about the body spray in South Africa. You remember that?
Of course. I think about it almost every other day because I have it in my bathroom. So are you telling the story?
You go, feel free. Yes. You have the floor.
See, but it was one of these little private moments, although we did tell everybody. We're Kevin and I are sharing a room, as we do. We've learned how to do it quite well, so you're all safe. Anyway, one day I thought, oh God, Kevin smells incredible. What is he wearing? But I don't say anything because it's still new in our relationship, right? So a couple of days go by, and I'm going, oh my God, I don't care. I'm walking into the bathroom, and I'm just saying to him, you smell incredible. What are you wearing? So he hands me this little bottle, and he's like, it was here. It was in the hotel. It's amazing. And I read the label, and it's it's room and linen spray that he's been using.
It's so simple.
It was
That's
lovely.
so great. Yes, on the whole body.
All over,
Yes.
all over. It was too lovely. Anyway.
We still
but he
chuckle
always
about
smelled fabulous.
Thank you.
It works.
Yes.
He's still asking the hotel to ship it.
Right? I love that stuff. It was fantastic. But those little moments like that are so simple but so hysterical.
Yeah.
Like 10 years later.
Exactly. Well, the reason I'm laughing, I was recently staying at Babylon Stewart, and they had a similar little bottle, and I picked it up and sprayed it as a room spray, and then decided, oh, it smells really nice. What is that? And it was an insect repellent. And then I burst out laughing because it reminded me of you spraying room spray perfume, and I thought the insect repellent was room spray. So it happens to the best of us, Kev. Don't worry.
I mean, this is exactly what I'm talking about. These are the little stories I'm trying to pick up now because, I also want to know, like, things that happen at villas when you're staying there for 7 days. I've heard little rumors about truth and dare going around.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, I can't be trusted. I know I'm the wine fairy, but I really shouldn't drink. Particularly when it's vodka and we start adding different things into my life. We ended up, I think a couple of guests had gone to bed, as you do on tours, because our tours are jam-packed with joy. But as good hosts, we stayed up to be the last man standing, right? One must always entertain one's guests. And somebody came up with the idea of truth and dare. And it did get a little bit out of hand. I think on that occasion, to the extent that Kevin and I ended up in the swimming pool fully clothed. But I could be mixing journeys, but all sorts of things that go down. The guests prompt us. And, if it is a guest's wish, I'm at their service. I should do as they wish, for the most part.
And I'll follow along.
Yeah. I don't know which one of us is worse, Kevin, but we do get ourselves into some fun situations.
I love that. Mikael, Kevin, you got any stories to spill? What is it? Spilling the tea?
Spilling the tea.
Yeah. Most of my great stories are with my cohort here, the wine fairy, so she brings it out in me. And all the guests.
I did in the introduction, I said I bring the chaos. So I think we're proving
chaos with a K.
Oh, yeah, with you. You're the K in chaos. Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of moments, I'm going to keep mine out of the way. But I do remember you guys kind of getting lost one day. Was it in Umbria?
We get lost a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say
Well, yeah.
one day. Lost all the time.
Right.
No, we don't get lost. We take detours and diversion.
Yes. And it might be a local bar in Umbria while shopping for lunch stuff. You remember that one?
Tell that, Kevin.
Whoops.
Boss is next
By the way,
to you.
boss,
Oh, by the way.
lost that day.
And that's when the van got damaged?
No, I never damage a van.
All right, so you guys, you took a detour?
Detour, we went shopping, and then we had to just submerge ourselves in the local culture, and the culture happened to be a local bar, where we did some wine research, some cocktail research, and also met some, all for the sake of the company.
See where we could take our guests the next day. It's all research.
All research.
Every glass
Meeting
of
the
wine,
locals.
every glass of wine is research. Meeting the locals, so that when we go there with guests, people greet us like they've known us for years because we've already made an impression. Very important.
Okay, well, on that note, I mean, if that's the excuse they're giving, then the excuse I would give when I completely destroyed the backyard of that poor lady because I took the wrong turn, I was actually helping her replant everything. So I was kind of like moving the soil to make sure that it was ready to put new tulips in there.
Former Mikael, yes.
That's what it was.
And okay, I also wanted to know.
Yes.
What is, like, Kevin, obviously for you food, Katie for you wine, your, I would say, favorite part of teaching people about wine, or Kevin, your favorite part in the kitchen about teaching people how you cook? How does that, feel for you? The ability to actually, translate the information you have to people. Like, obviously, as a chef, that's your joy and your love.
Yeah, I will say so. While cooking in the villa with the guests, the biggest takeaway, not really so much is like the knife use or how to cook, but the quality of ingredients. So for me, shopping in the markets and the guests pick out what they want, we come back home, and they are so excited to learn how to cook like a wild mushroom or to break down. Like this past group, we cleaned up calamari, right? So we had them taking apart the calamari, chopping it up for like a presentation, but in the villa, they're willing to do almost everything. I had guests break down whole guinea hens and rabbits in Alsace. We had guests clean up calamari and cook octopus with me in some of the kitchens. So they're really out of the comfort zone there. But for me, in a restaurant, you have a wall. There's a chef behind the wall and the guests are up front, right? On these trips, the wall is gone and the chef and the guests are together in the kitchen. So we're using knives together, we're cooking together, tasting things together. I try to go back into my Rolodex of cooking techniques and explain to them, how to boil properly, how to saute, how to poach, all that fun stuff. Because all cooking is about the same. Ingredients change. Whether you're in France, Spain, Italy, Cape Town, North America. So the technique is always the same. So once I teach them one technique on how to make homemade pasta, that is throughout the whole world the same. When I teach them how to braise meat, it's the same throughout the world. Those ingredients change. But also that they're learning a really personal part about me, right? Like who Kevin really is. Kevin has that passion for cooking, for local ingredients, but also I love teaching. So to teach somebody the cooking process to me is more rewarding, close your ears, than to get paid for it. Okay.
All right, we just got a salary cut on the way.
I'd open up.
I think you should get a raise. What do you mean? You should get a raise for that, honestly.
I like the way you think, Katie.
On that note, Katie, your turn.
For me, I like to teach in a way, but not in the way that sounds. So for me, it's sharing knowledge, and it's seeing people light up when they get it. Wine for so many people can be quite intimidating. And we use big fancy words, and I can use those fancy words like the best of them. But for me, it's about breaking that down into simply how to taste wine. And I've had people from around the world that have been to all the top vineyards. And when I break it down into my 3-step tasting protocol and teach them how to really experience what they're tasting for the first time, people are absolutely mesmerized. And it's learning to understand what you like and why you like that, and being able to showcase that to somebody and to see their sort of the barriers break down and suddenly get this confidence and the lights go on and they go, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And it's almost as if they want to go back and retaste all the wines again. And you sort of ignite this passion in people that they suddenly have this confidence to walk into one of the beautiful Michelin star restaurants that we frequent and actually speak their own truth about what wines they like in a confident way with beautiful words that are lyrical and that they know at the end of it, they're then going to get something that they're going to enjoy. And seeing that confidence really just lights me up as much as it does them.
You know, and I have to be honest, I do know about wine, but you have taught me, and I say it often when I travel, I'm like, oh, Katie would be so proud of me, because things do come back, and because you do it and not to be, you know, not to minimize absolutely the work you do, but you do it in such a simple way and such an easy to understand way, not boring, where, you know, when it's boring, you forget half the stuff someone is teaching you. So do it in such a way that I'm able now to really recognize the wines. Mm-hmm. I'm able to recognize why the wine is that way today because of that soil, because of that weather. And we just did it in Provence again, where some of the best wines were served again, especially in Gigondas, in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. And we're seeing here in the Tokai region, and I'm able to really immediately connect to what it is based on your teaching. And so that's a testament to what you do for our guests, but also for your own guests, because obviously you have your own company, and that's what you do for a living. And the reason you're so popular is because of that easy way, right? Wine is complicated. Understanding wine does not have to be, right?
It doesn't.
It doesn't have to.
And, you know, wine is literally geography that becomes drinkable. Mm-hmm. And the minute you understand that wine is art, created through passion, driven by science, and like art is interpreted by those who consume it, is you understand that about yourself. You can then relay that to every situation that you're in. And it's all about perspective of where you are, perspective of who you're with, and what you're doing. And yeah, it's that simple. Well, you're going to make me all cry. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, both of you. I love that. I mean, Katie, so eloquent of how you explain it as well. I love it. But let's also go now, you know, let's look to the future. We've spoken a lot about, you know, the past and everything, reliving those moments. It's 10 years for In Voyage. We want to, you know, look at something unique going forward, some exciting destinations that we maybe haven't tried, you know, etc. In the next 10 years, what are some destinations that stand out to you, or an special experience that stands out to you that you really want to bring to people and share to them?
You go.
I've got a list.
Okay. All right, I'm going to sit back. You got a list?
New Zealand, Normandy, Sicily, Argentina. I want to go back to Burgundy. We really need to go to Bordeaux. I mean, I could literally sit here and list 100 countries for you. But it's more than just for the wine, of course. It's for the places, it's for the history, it's for the scenery, it's for, oh, yes, the list goes on.
Well, what a coincidence. If you call today, we have New Zealand. Yes, we have a beautiful New Zealand journey that Katie and I will be hosting in March. We're very excited about this.
Nice.
We're working on finalizing Normandy. Super excited about that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I'm so excited about Normandy, because as much as there's wine, there's a lot of, it's more about Calvados. It's more about the cider, the apples. So it's taking sort of this wine world into a deeper realm of experiences. So yeah, so exciting.
Lovely. Kevin?
Well, I've been fortunate enough the past 10 years to travel to some of the countries with the best cuisine. I mean, I've been to so many times to Spain, France, Italy. For me, those are my top 3 tier when it comes to culinary. However, I'm really curious about the whole Asian cuisine, Japan, Laos, Cambodia, these cuisines have ingredients very different from European ingredients or American ingredients. The cuisine is much more disciplined to a degree, if you will, especially in Japan. So I'm looking forward to going maybe possibly there to experience it first time with the guests. But I'm always up for a good Burgundy trip, Bordeaux trip, Rioja trip, Piemonte, Umbria. What?
I think you've really hit on something quite important there, and it's a great way for us to progress and move forward, is like Japan, right? The sake. So to do a sake and food pairing is fantastic. The rice wine element coming through. Some of the best whiskies in the world are coming out of Japan at the moment. And as much as a lot of these places may not necessarily seem like drinking cultures, it really is, the whole world is changing. You know, look at how Art in Voyage has come in the last 10 years, but you look at how the world has changed in the last 10 years and people's approach to food and wine and experiences. So I think you're onto something there with going to the East, as it were.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yes, I love that.
Mikael, what are some things you're looking forward to in the next 10 years?
So honestly, a lot of things that we do on those journeys is being social. And I am in this phase where actually I want to try to take our guests to places where there's less tourism, but yet still a great possibilities, things that have not yet been explored. And so it's about two things. It's about picking the right destination, but also picking off seasons. And what I've noticed as well with our guests is that they're very willing to travel off season. And when you travel off season, not only you can get a better deal, obviously, when it comes to the cost of the trip itself, but you can also enjoy it better. You have a better connection with the local partners, with the farms, with the winemakers. And so, I want to kind of move into that. So I'm talking about Eastern Europe. We're talking about Hungary. Obviously, we're there right now. Talking about Poland. We're talking about Albania. We want to go to places that are not yet quite there when it comes to that. And then do it off season, maybe in May, maybe in October, as opposed to going in full season. So to me, those are top picks for me. I really want to explore more of Africa. I think Africa has so much to offer. And obviously, our two hosts right here are food and wine focused. Katie can speak of the wine in Africa. I know Southern Africa, obviously, with Cape Town, has a lot of great wines. I don't know if that's starting to expand in other African countries. We can certainly look into that. But the food, the African food, and the soul that goes into making that food, the spices, I really want to bring that to our guests. I mean, it's going to be a matter of making sure that the guests understand that they're safe at those destinations. It's still something we're struggling with when it comes to bringing them to certain destinations. But it would be a shame for them to miss out on all of that. So the next 10 years have to be more unique. We want to keep our flagship, I call them flagship journeys, obviously, but maybe less frequency and try to open up to other destinations, the ones that, both of them mentioned. To me, it's really about bringing them to, Sao Tome, which is a little island off the coast of Africa, has incredible cuisine. It's up and coming, but it's not there yet where it's invaded with tourists or cruise ships. And I think this is the kind of stuff that you need to catch on the moment now, because at some point in time, it's going to become a destinations that people must see. So the world is huge. The possibilities are endless, but it's got to be done in a way that, matters to our guests. As you know, Vian, every year we send a register your interest email that basically asks our guests where they would like to go and what destinations they might be interested. We do that with the input of our host, and we do that with the input of trends, and when we put that together, and then guests come back, and this is what we do. We design things for them, not for us. It's not about us at the end of the day. It's really about them and destinations they'd like to go to with us. So as their host and their friends.
You mentioned shoulder seasons.
Shoulder season.
So, Katie too. So for a chef, that is the best time to travel because you're looking at the best of spring, right, and the best of fall. Also for Katie, we're at bud break and you're at the harvest time, right? So weather-wise, it's the best time. But when it comes to cooking, I would prefer to cook in April, May, early June, and also like at least September, October, as opposed to July and August, right? Where it's not a big old bounty of vegetables like there is in the spring and fall.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Makes the experience way more interesting.
And the weather's often relatively favourable at those times. Not too hot, not too cold. I sound like Goldilocks, but you do get this like beautiful. We can still jump in the pool, but we can still, have a little jacket in the evening. I love that.
And if you're cold, you can always jump in with your clothes, right? You've done that before. You've tested those waters.
Just don't spill your wine going in.
Yeah. Always keep the wine glass above the water line. Always.
Well, I think it's an exciting 10 years ahead. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I think it's going to be great. And I think it would only be right to celebrate In Voyage's birthday now, right?
I got what you mean. So let's pour 4 glasses of this excellent. So people might think of the Tokaj region of Hungary as the sweet wine capital, and it kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been really exploring this, and they have bubbly as well. They have wonderful Syrah, but today I shook it earlier, so let's just hold.
Yes, I'll be over here.
Yeah, let's.
Christening a boat. Muscles.
I know, and you know what?
It's a screw cap.
There you go, and it's just. Have you ever seen this, Katie? A screw cap bubbly?
I think it's pretty cool. Don't get me started on the screw cap debate, because I have opinions. Because next you'll have me in bag and box and a whole load of things. But that's a different conversation.
Lovely little
Yay. My mouth's watering. I can feel this.
All right. So I'm going to send you the first glass. All right. Are you ready, Vian?
Ready?
You got it? There you go. To Katie. Then I'm going to send you the second one for you, Vian. Go ahead. There you go.
There we go.
Grab your own. Grab your own. It's fine. Grab your own. Guys.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Shoot another finger. Cheers.
Click, guys.
Oh, sorry. Fantastic. Fantastic. So, Katie, we hope to have you in the Tokaj region. I mean, obviously, we do those things to inspect, to scout. We call it scouting. We're not really inspecting. I'm lucky enough to have a friend who actually bought a little cottage in the middle of a vineyard a few years ago, and she's actually going to show us quite a few wineries this afternoon and then tomorrow. And the idea is obviously to put something together. And that's something that the both of you actually should be hosting. So announcing it now on the air, watch out for Burgundy with Katie and Kevin. You guys will do fantastically well. And I'll make sure there's no pool you can jump in.
Oh, we'll find one. We'll make our own.
Yeah, it's part of the fun, man. You've got it.
Yes,
It's lovely. Cheers to 10 years, everybody.
Cheers to 10 years.
10 years, boss.
Thank you, Katie, for coming in.
Absolute pleasure.
Of course. Thank you guys for calling all the way from Hungary. It's been lovely, having you all together. And as I said, sometime in the future, we'll all get together properly in person. Maybe have wine throughout the whole podcast, see where that goes. But it's been really lovely being with you guys. Mikael, Kevin, thank you. Katie.
Thanks, everybody.
And
Enjoy your winter, guys. We'll be in the summer.
Yeah,
Cheers.
and rub it in.
Cheers.
Ciao.
10 years, my friend.
Cheers.
Salut.